Hey everyone, before we get started with this episode, I wanted to start off with prayer because there has been something that was brought up as of yesterday, and I want to dedicate this time of prayer that we usually have at the beginning of the episode to a tragedy that happened yesterday. For those who don't know, I'm from the Tri-Cities area of East Tennessee, and Milligan University, one of the local colleges, suffered a tragedy. The biking team was on a training route, and a car ended up coming through, causing several injuries, and two 19-year-old sophomores who have passed away. As somebody who knows people from that school, and I know one of my good friends is on the bicycle team, and he wasn't with them that morning. Him and his girlfriend weren't there. But if you will pray for them, they need prayer, and that campus and just families, because losing someone that young, especially, just that has to be one of the hardest things you can deal with. And I want to dedicate this time just to go ahead and pray for them. We're going to pray for the bicycle team and just pray for that campus, pray for the families of those who were lost. So let's go ahead and pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, come to you now, Lord, to have this prayer time, to pray for those who have been lost. Lord, there are many that are injured, and Lord, we pray that you will give healing to them, Lord, if you are willing. Lord, give healing, because we know you have the power to, Lord, to be able to heal. Lord, I know those families of the two young men who were lost have to be suffering right now, Lord, and please let your glory and your presence be known in this time, Lord, and that your peace, which surpasses all understanding, will guard their hearts and their minds in Christ Jesus, Lord. Be with them in this time. I pray that you just let your presence be known throughout Milligan campus, and Lord, let this not pass by as if it's some piece of news, but let us pray continuously for these families that have gone through loss, this team that has gone through loss, Lord. Let this tragedy not pass us by, Lord. Let us pray for your presence to be known now more than ever. Lord, let your power be known, your peace and comfort spread throughout the families, the team, the students of Milligan campus, everybody who is discouraged, family, friends of those who were lost. Lord, pray peace and comfort for them as they just go through this time, Lord. Lord, we love you. We praise you. For you are worthy of all the honor, all the glory, and all the praise forever and ever. So in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, we pray and ask all these things. Amen. Hey, y'all. Welcome to episode 2 of the Pastor Pro Pod. I'm Luke Bledsoe, but you can call me Pastor Luke, or you could just call me LB if you like. I go by that nickname sometimes as well. So, this is a special edition of the podcast with me going off to Johnson tomorrow as I pursue a new season that the Lord is putting me through in my life. I thought it'd be fun to just do one fun what's the word for it? Hoorah before I go. So we got some fun stuff. First off, we're going to talk about some stuff with D23. I'm going to give my review for Spider-Man Brand New Day, along with my Spider-Man ranking. Surprise, that wasn't in the title of the video, but here we are. And I'll give my top 10 list as well. It's just going to be a fun episode, and yeah. So, starting off, I want to talk about D23. So, that was very interesting. So, let's start off with talking about that. Excuse me. So, we got a couple things. First, I want to start off by talking about that Doomsday special look. I'm mainly just going to talk about the Marvel stuff because I'm not really huge into other stuff Disney-wise. I want to just say that that trailer just made me even more excited because the plot was exactly what you would expect. By the looks of it, Doom is saying, you all messed with the timeline, you caused all these incursions, you are going to pay the price. And apparently Andrew, also known as Weffello, Weffello from the escape pod, is just like, redo everything. He's just crashing out over literally nothing. Hey, not every superhero movie has to have a happy ending. Infinity War worked. And by the way, people will say it's catastrophic to begin Doomsday with, if it happens to be Tobey's Spider-Man versus the X-Men, and it's Tobey's universe dies. Brother, I can't think of a better way to send him off. Literally, because if he's going to take down the X-Men, if he takes them down like nothing, in the last shot, because I'm calling it, for Doomsday right now, I'm going to call my prediction. This is my prediction for the opening of Doomsday. You have X-Men versus Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. This is an incursion that's happening. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine shows up along with Deadpool because Tobey's Spider-Man is taking out the entire X-Men. So they show up to help get the X-Men out of there. But we get Deadpool versus Spider-Man as, you got Wolverine leading the way, leading the X-Men out. Deadpool is losing to Spider-Man. That's crazy. But then we get Hugh Jackman's Wolverine versus Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. We finally get that dream fight. And I'm telling you, this is one of those that... This is just... I think it will end with both of them dying. Because if you want to make an impact, that's the best way for both of them to end up, getting killed off. Is by having them fight each other as that world gets destroyed. I know people will hate it, but to me, two of my favorite Marvel characters duking it out would just be, that'd be awesome. But yeah, I'm excited for Doomsday. I think it looks good. I can see what they're doing with the messaging, and it looks like the messaging is going to revolve around Doctor Doom's character. And as somebody who watches film for messaging, I think Doomsday has the potential to be the best messaging of any Avengers movie and of any Russo brothers movie, which makes, as long as this film is well crafted enough, I think this film has the potential to be my favorite Russo brothers project, which would automatically make it a top 5 superhero movie of all time for me. To give you a little bit of a peek towards one of my top 10 lists later. But yeah, so Doomsday looks exciting. And the main thing I want to talk about when it comes to D23, you got all these cool announcements, sure. We got one of the best announcements, and the X-Men casting announcement. So let me talk about this. A bunch of people, I have no idea. Samara Weaving, I just know from the Ready or Not, but I've never even seen those movies. But she I think she probably can do a good Emma Frost. I probably would make a good bet with that. Sadie Sink being Jean Grey, as we already know. If you haven't even seen Spider-Man Brand New Day, that's your fault. It's literally crossed $2 billion. And it's been out for, what, 3 weeks? Sorry. But also not sorry because... Anywho's. But it's really interesting because these names I've never really heard of. Except for one, and it's the most controversial, with Indy Neveready playing Rogue. Look. I truly believe that the hate is purely sexualized. Because why are we hating this actress getting job security by playing Rogue? Here's the thing. She probably is going to be one of the best actresses heading into the future. I could see her playing a decent Rogue. And if you forget, they do auditions for these roles. They clearly see something. That's what, I mean, Marvel, when do they usually miss on casting? That's all I'm going to say. But the reason I say it's purely probably sexualized with the criticism is because everybody looks at Rogue and they think of the body before they and also Southern. As someone from the South, it ain't that hard to do a Southern accent. If you think it is, you ain't from the South. Anywho's, I'll tell you this as well. Christopher Abbott, not really seen much of him. Maya Boyd, a Storm, cool. Adam Driver's Mr. Sinister, I like that. I really have no complaints. Kit Connor is Cyclops, really nothing there to say. And the rumors, and I like this, is that Lee Pace might be Magneto. And I like that. Because, dude, Ronan the Accuser, I thought he was good. But him as Magneto, from what I've seen, if you do him as Magneto, whoo, that'll be a top tier casting. I'm not going to lie to you. But that's all for D23 talk. Yeah, pretty quick, pretty simple. I didn't want to dive too much into that. By the way, what do y'all think about the podcast setup? This is a setup because currently where I'm moving stuff out of my room where I usually film, I'm filming in my house office. So, there you go. Anyways, I'm going to give you all my review for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Just briefly go over it. I think it is probably is my favorite live-action Spider-Man movie. And I'm not going to say anything else against it. Because, truthfully, I think this felt like a 90s Spider-Man episode come to life, and it made me so happy watching it. The messaging was fantastic. Everything was fantastic about this movie. And this is my review just so y'all have it. This is Spider-Man. The score and soundtrack is incredible. The visuals are stunning. The sound effects were amazing. The acting was spectacular. No pun intended. The story is solid, but it's also quite unique, making it different from other Spider-Man projects we have had. It reminds me something from the 90s Spider-Man show. This movie did what Spider-Man 3 and TASM 2 were unable to do, and that is keeping balance with everything in this movie. The action is fantastic. There are some great heartfelt scenes in this movie that brought me to tears. The characters were fantastic in this movie. This feels like a true comic book turning into a movie, which feels weird because that never seems to happen. In terms of Spider-Man, this is the best representation of the character from start to finish. The following are me going into detail about each thing. The action scenes truly were fantastic. The hand fight was sick. The Hulk sequence was really well done. The visuals of New York are absolutely stunning, and I was even more impressed by the color. Peter Parker is the key character here that left me amazed. Sadie Sink's character is just fantastic, and her origin makes you feel for her. Punisher was also just fantastic, especially paired with Spider-Man. Those scenes in particular had me laughing, intrigued, and entertained. There's a message about mental health in here that hits me close to home as someone who dealt with loneliness on many days. You have me. That particular quote, "You have me," is something I wish I could hear when I was going through that dark time of my life. The message of hope that Spider-Man brings is so beautiful. This film continues to grow on me the more I think about it. And I was typing that as I was in the car on the way back after going to see it with my dad. And I'm just like, that movie, wow, really well done. Overall, the movie is a personal favorite as it is a well-crafted work of art. The meaningful themes of loneliness, responsibility, change, and life are truly beautiful. Without a single doubt in my mind, as someone who grew up wanting this kind of Spider-Man movie, this movie is my favorite Spider-Man in live action. Yeah, I said it. The Raiminisms are really fantastic here as well. I don't have that added in, but I thought it'd be good to mention as well. So, in also summary, yes, I'm going to reveal this to you. This is my favorite MCU film of all time. And I stand by that. So, now, if I could get it pulled up here, I'm going to go ahead and pull up my list on Letterboxd. If you want to go check out my Letterboxd is pastor_Luke if you would like to go check some of these lists out yourself. But before we get into the top 10, I'm going to do my Spider-Man movie ranking. So, let's go ahead and get to it. At number 11. Okay. Y'all are going to hate me. I want you to know, I grew up with Spectacular Spider-Man and the 90s Spider-Man, the animated series. And I hate to tell you this. There is a movie that unfortunately I just don't understand. You're going to see it later in the video. But at number 11, as the worst Spider-Man movie, not including Sonyverse, I have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah, I'm going to get assassinated for that one. Look, I think it's a good movie. I just, unfortunately, this is a Spider-Man movie I can't get behind. I don't get the hype of people saying this is better than the first. I just don't. There's great stuff in this movie, but it's a setup. It's just a setup for the third movie. And honestly, I think because of how much setup it is, I need the third one to like this one. And there are movies that can be set up and you don't need the next movie. Empire Strikes Back. You don't need Return of a Jedi to like Empire. And maybe it's because I grew up with Empire so much that maybe I feel that way and I'm just seeing Across the Spider-Verse. But I'm so shocked that this doesn't have the same controversy that Empire Strikes Back did. This has, I really don't understand the hype around. I just don't get the hype around Across. I wish I did. I just don't. So, I'm sorry, but it's dead last. Animation looks beautiful. There's plenty of pros, but the fact that it's mostly set up is what kills this movie for me. It's a 6 out of 10 at best. Go ahead, attack me for that one. At number 10, I have The Amazing Spider-Man 1 at a 7 out of 10, and at number 10 on the list. It's not... I think it's a little dull for Spider-Man, so it's not a personal favorite of mine or anything. There are 8 of these 11 movies that I've left a like on. And I don't know. I feel kind of bored sometimes when I watch TASM 1, but I also like it at the same time. So I like the parent stuff. I think it makes it intriguing. I like the lizard. This is a very solid Spider-Man film. But just being solid ain't going to get you higher than where you're at. It's just not. This is Spider-Man we're talking about here. And you're talking about somebody who really enjoys Spider-Man with me. At number 9, I have TASM 2. Literally might have my favorite superhero movie scene of all time with the Victorian speech at the end. The valedictorian speech at the end is wow. Like, this movie is spectacular. No pun intended. It's amazing. Say that again? But truly, like, I think there's a lot of great stuff in here. Too much to not be a 7 out of 10, at least, where I have it ranked. It's a solid film. And I don't get how people can hate it. It's really solid, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. So, I like the fight sequences. I think the suit looks amazing. It has the best love story. It has the best message. It has, I wouldn't say it has one of the best messages I've seen for a superhero film. I really don't know what else to really say here. I feel like the rest have something to say. This movie is a mess, unfortunately, and that's what holds it back for me. I just can't ignore it, and that's the problem. At number 8, I have Spider-Man 3. I grew up loving this film, and I still do. The message of forgiveness in this movie is fantastic. I really do like Sandman in this movie. I like that whole thing, and I honestly kind of wish this movie didn't have Venom in it, because if the original idea was Sandman, this movie could have been genuinely not as messy, and I would have probably enjoyed it. But it is still messy. You still can notice it, but I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy it. So, yeah, that's that. I'm sorry if I'm going through everything fast. This podcast is a little bit later than I would have originally anticipated it, but here we are. At number 7, I have Spider-Man Far From Home. I enjoy this movie plenty. I like Mysterio. I just like Tom Holland. I think he's the best Spider-Man easily. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, I like Far From Home. I just enjoy that, but I think it is definitely the weakest of the Tom Holland films. And at number 6, I have one that is just outside of a 10. No, Far From Home, Spider-Man 3 I had as an 8. Spider-Man Far From Home I had as a 9. And number 6, I have Spider-Man No Way Home at a 9 out of 10. And look, this film, fantastic. I really enjoyed that last third act. Unfortunately, I really, really struggle to really enjoy the first 2 acts of this movie. Because up until the hotel, it kind of feels like we're just setting up towards what's going to happen in the final act. We're setting up towards the hotel incident, and it's good. It's entertaining, but it takes up until that point, and once you get to that point, it's just fantastic the rest of the way. But really do enjoy No Way Home. And entering the top 5 at number 5, we have the original Spider-Man from 2002 with Tobey Maguire fighting William Dafoe's Green Goblin, who is spectacular in his role acting. I think that this has some of the best Spider-Man stuff easily, and I think it's underrated, heavily underrated. It's easily a 10 out of 10. Everything from here is a 10 out of 10, just so you know. But yeah, that's my number 5. And number 4, I have Spider-Man Homecoming. This movie grew on me enough to be like, yeah, this is easily a 10 out of 10. I enjoy Vulture. I think it's great. I think there's plenty to enjoy about this movie. I think that there's plenty of fun. Spider-Man, people calling it Iron Man 4. Brother, he's not even in the movie that long. Oh, how much impact does he have? Brother, who cares? You're not getting him enough to where you should care. Vulture and Spider-Man, the dynamic is more like, dude, you're thinking, oh, it's not really personal between Vulture and Spider-Man. It's between Vulture and Iron Man. That's until Vulture finds out that Pete's dating his daughter, and in the third act, it becomes personal. It becomes personal all of a sudden, because he's like, you broke my daughter's heart, now you're gonna pay. Like, I don't get how people dislike this. This movie's so much fun. It's one of the most fun MCU movies, easily. At number 3, I have Spider-Man 2. Iconic. I really do like it. I think it's great. I really enjoy, it's iconic. Do I need to say much? Doc Ock's fantastic. The messaging's fantastic. Everything. At number 2, I have Spider-Man Brand New Day. Like I just said earlier, I think it's the best live action one, easily. I enjoy the messaging here, everything. It just feels like the most authentic Spider-Man that we've ever gotten. And at number 1, I have my favorite superhero movie of all time, the spoilery for my top 10 list later, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. The messaging is fantastic. The artwork in this movie is fantastic. This movie is fantastic. Across the Spider-Verse is nowhere near beating this one, in my opinion. And I don't even think the third one can beat this one. So, this movie is truly, in my opinion, the greatest superhero movie of all time. But also, the greatest Spider-Man movie. So, yeah, I kind of flew through that list fast. I'm really sorry. I really want to get to the list I really want to get to, which is my, I think a good transition would be superhero lists. So, yeah. And I know this is a weird episode. I know because it's special edition, we don't have really anything teaching-wise. But, like I said, it is a special episode of the podcast. And I feel like we're really flying through it. Like, I feel like we have not been filming for that long. But, yeah. Also, you know what? I'll take a quick break to talk before we dive into the top 10 list. I saw Lanterns episode 1. Spoiler if you haven't. But that show looks fantastic. I like the thrill. I like the mystery. I like the crime solving of it. I think the show's just fantastic right now. And honestly, at this pace, if it keeps up as good as episode 1 was, I think this show could be fantastic. Genuinely fantastic. So, I'm holding out hope that it will be, but anyways. Speaking of superhero stuff, we have the top 10 worst superhero movies of all time. So, let's get into this. At number 10, now, I want to be clear. Actually, before I start, I should probably say this because you all are going to despise me if I don't. The lists I'm doing for superheroes, I have not seen some of the considerably worst superhero movies of all time, like Catwoman or the Elektra movies or some stuff like that. I've never had to watch. Howard the Duck. Never had to watch those in any circumstance. So, of course, I'm not going to include them because I haven't seen them. So, if you're expecting some of those, well, you're in for a treat. You're going to get something new here. With that being said, let's give the top 10 worst superhero movies of all time, in my opinion. At number 10, I have Justice League. This is Josh Whedon's Justice League. If you want to see my star ratings, I'm not going to say them just because I want to talk about each individual film. But at number 10, we have Justice League, the version by Josh Whedon. This movie sucks. This is not good. I don't know who thought this was a good film. This is just not. I'm glad we got Zack Snyder's version, but at the same time, this version is... it's rough. This movie is rough. But, yeah. So, yeah, Justice League is kind of meh. It's really meh. I don't think I need to say much. It sucks. It sucks. It genuinely sucks. Yeah, enough said. At number 9, oh golly. I'm going to get hated for this one, but at number 9 I have Wonder Woman. Look, Gal Gadot, very pretty woman. Okay? She is a very pretty woman. But looks aren't everything. Acting matters. And I don't like her as Wonder Woman because she's mediocre with her acting. But I do like, and I will say this, I do like the score that plays basically any time she's doing anything, because that's actually cool. And it doesn't even play in this movie. No wonder why I don't like it. I didn't like this. I don't like this movie at all. I didn't care for it. I thought it was boring. I thought it was lackluster. Chris Pine's probably the only redeeming factor that makes this movie like this low on the top 10 worst list for me. But yeah. At number 8, look, technically this is a superhero film, so I have to include it. I have Captain Underpants, the first epic movie. Look, I grew up with the Captain Underpants. This, to me, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, that wasn't that good. So this is more personal, so don't take offense to me having it this low. If you enjoy it, I'm not going to attack you at all for that. I'd be more offended if you have one of the top 3 on my list as your number 1, or you really even like it at all. If you like it at all, I'm actually going to question you of any of the top 3. But yeah, number 7, I have Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. This is a hot take of mine. I think that there's great acting in here. My one huge issue with this movie is after that first bit of the movie where you have the funeral, which is one of the most beautiful scenes in the MCU, I think it takes a massive drop after that. A drop so hard that I'm genuinely like, did it really just take that massive of a drop? That's sad. And I'm hoping to give this movie a rewatch. I do probably need to give it a rewatch before Doomsday comes out. But, dude, I was kind of like, I kind of thought, by the end of that movie, I was like, that scene at the beginning was beautiful. Everything after, it kind of was like what Alex Azor, a.k.a. Hat Guy, would say about Up. It just, after that first bit, takes a big fall. And for me, I feel that way about this movie. I feel that way with this movie. And it's not the worst MCU movie, because at number 6, I have the worst, but Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I do need to rewatch. At number 6, I have Ant-Man and the Wasp, the worst MCU film. No question about it. This film it gets worse with every watch. And I'm just like, at that point, I'm like, are we serious? This movie keeps getting worse and worse and worse every time I watch it. And I want to enjoy it. There's not really any redeeming factors for this movie, in my opinion. I am a huge Ant-Man 1 guy. I want this movie to be good, and I just can't enjoy it. So, not a fan at all of this movie. So, yeah. At number 5, this top 5 for me is by far the worst. I hate this top 5 so much. At number 5, I have Suicide Squad from 2016. This is not just one of the worst superhero movies of all time. This is by far, and when I say by far, I mean it, by far the most disappointing superhero movie of all time. I don't remember a superhero film ever being as disappointing as Suicide Squad from 2016. That trailer with Bohemian Rhapsody, is this the real life? Sorry, sucky singing, my bad. But you get the point. That trailer made the movie look like it was going to be a ton of fun, and it turned into some soulless mess. It feels like all the soul was sucked out of it. And I want to enjoy it. It is nowhere near as good as the Suicide Squad, which recently came out. That's a really fun movie. But this movie is unfortunate. And great cast, too, but sad. I tried to make excuses for this movie for years. No more. This movie is bottom 5 for me. At number 4, I have a movie y'all are going to hate me for having in my top 10 worst superhero movies of all time. I have Deadpool 1. Look, as a Christian, I can only take so much crude humor. And Deadpool 2, I actually think is a solid film. This is just, no. I don't like Deadpool 1. I think that there's funny moments, sure, but this movie is just crude, over the top. It's not for me. Look, if you enjoy this thing, knock yourself out. But it's not my thing. This movie is not my thing. I would not recommend this to anyone. Because if they're anything like me and they don't care for crude humor, I'm not going to recommend this. Because the crude humor is over the top. And maybe Deadpool 2 is over the top too with its crude humor. Not enough for me to care though. There is way too much in here though. And I can't. It's not a film I want to rewatch. That's telling you something. At number 3, I have Morbius. Awful. Boring. Jared Leto sucked the energy out of this film. Matt Smith got wasted in a... Like, this movie is purely the reason I don't want to watch anything of the Sonyverse. I am a huge Spider-Man guy. And I didn't care as much. I actually enjoyed a solid amount of Venom 1 and Venom 2. But this movie genuinely has gotten me to the point where I don't want to watch any more of the Sony films. I've not seen Madam Web, Venom 3, or Kraven the Hunter. But it's because I don't want to see them. Morbius literally made me not want to watch those movies. I can't stand this film. And the fact that it made me not want to watch another Sonyverse just shows how bad it is. Genuinely one of the worst movies I think I've ever seen. And it's most certainly one of the worst superhero films I've ever had to sit through. Awful movie. Awful. Number 2, I have Fantastic Four, 2015. Also known as Fant Four Stick. You know, I never wanted to lie growing up about me not liking a movie. I wanted to go see this, so I went to see it with my mom and my grandparents. I was like, 9 years old maybe? And this movie sucked. This was the first time I ever watched the movie, and I was like, oh, I hated that. Like, that did not feel like Fantastic Four. It just felt like I watched an action movie that was sloppy. Like, this ain't Fantastic Four. This is a joke. This is one of the... This is the worst. Oh, I don't like this movie at all. I despise it. It is ridiculous. It is... this is... I groan because I don't want to talk about this movie. This movie sucks. It's awful. Like, it is awful. I genuinely question if you like this movie. I'm sorry, I just do. This is not Fantastic Four. Doctor Doom, my second favorite Marvel bad guy. He might be my number 1 if Doomsday does him justice. The way they do him in this movie is so bad. The way they do him is awful. The way that they do the Thing, it's clobbering time, came from a brother being abusive to Ben Grimm. That is such a... Oh, dude. Like, that should be enough to tell you. Like, oh, that's so bad. That's so bad. Anyways, enough said. At number 1, I have Wonder Woman 1984. The only movie here I've given a 0 out of 10. I've given 3 movies at this point a 0 out of 10. This is one of them. You'll hear the other 2 later. And I genuinely cannot stand this movie. This movie, when I watched it, I literally halfway in, actually maybe not even halfway in, like 20 minutes in, I'm like, I already don't like this. And then it just got worse. And I didn't like it. I didn't like the way she... Like, maybe there's not really anything redeeming about this movie. I don't like it. I really don't like it. I genuinely don't like this movie. And it is so sad that this movie is given an average of 2 stars on Letterboxd. Because, yeah, in my opinion, it should be less than 1. Is that harsh? Probably. But I genuinely cannot stand that movie. It's not my kind of... It is... Oh, did not like it. I'm getting upset. So, it's time to talk about my top 10 favorite superhero movies of all time. Here we go. Yeah! All these movies I've given a 10 out of 10. So, time to talk. One of these is unlike the others, and you might want to terminate me after I say it. The thing is, you will not see it coming. Anyways, at number 10, I have Logan. What a fantastic superhero film, dude. I remember, I'm not one to enjoy a bunch of F-bombs in a movie. This is a film I do enjoy. I think the story's great. I think the characters are great. I think this is by far the best Wolverine. I think this is the best, I think outside of one movie in particular. This is the I don't want to say it's the best solo superhero film. It's the second best for Marvel, that is, in my opinion. Logan it's such a fantastically made film, dude. I mean, the story's great. The fact that, like, that's how you do a message of survival, of how you protect others in a world of survival, even when your life is the one that's being at risk. That's such a beautiful, like, message. I think it's great. It's a fantastic film. Depressing, but it's fantastic nonetheless. At number 9, I have X-Men Days of Future Past, the best X-Men movie, and I will stand on business and say that it's the best. I think the message in this movie is fantastic, of them trying to pursue to make Mystique, you don't have to be a bad guy. You can choose to be good. I like the way that they did that. I think this film is fantastic. I think that I think it's just so super entertaining. Not much to really say here. I don't have any key major takeaways, and if I did, I would probably say them, because I know how much I'm probably going to clip out of this episode because of how long it'll be till the next episode of the podcast. At number 8, I have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This movie is, if we're counting movies that are considered team-up movies, technically this is my third favorite. I've always had a special spot for the Guardians movies, from literally the get-off. At the beginning of Guardians 1, you'd have to ask me about that. If you want to comment on that, about asking that, I absolutely would love to answer that. But I've always felt like Peter Quill can be a pretty relatable character. The last 20 minutes had me crying a bunch, both times I watched it. And that's to the point. I don't think there's any superhero film that's ever got me this emotional. So, as that movie did. So, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, James Gunn. I will say, this is the only movie of his that's in my top 10, but I trust him with the DCU. Unlike a lot of fake fans of his, but I'm a supporter of his with the DCU, so keep at it, James Gunn, because that movie, he went out with a bang with Marvel. I really enjoyed Guardians 3. Really enjoy it. I think there's a lot of fun with it. And that's it. At number 7, I have the best Flash movie. Justice League, The Flashpoint Paradox. My second favorite. So, I will talk about this a little bit more in my animated movies. Not this one in particular, but I do want to talk about this now. This movie is the only time I've gotten an accurate Flashpoint Paradox. The show, which is one of my favorite shows, didn't do it justice. And the movie didn't really do it well, but I liked what they did. I didn't really like how they didn't do what they could have done. But this movie, I'm a huge Flash guy. This is my favorite storyline of his. It's just like, and it works. I'd easily rewatch this film. It's very beautiful in animation. Great storytelling. It tells a great story about responsibility and overcoming not being able to change the past. I think there's a lot of great stuff in it. But that's a movie I definitely recommend everybody to check out. If you haven't seen something like very good Flash-wise, this would change your perspective on the character. But yeah. At number 6, here we go. Y'all are going to hate me. And y'all were going to be like, hang him right now. But at number 6, On my top 10 superhero movies of all time, I have Man of Steel. Oh. I heavily enjoy this movie. Heavily. I think the elements of faith that somehow are in this are just spectacular. And I've always enjoyed this movie. The score's fantastic. This movie is my favorite Superman representation of Superman that I've seen. I enjoy Man of Steel a bunch, and I don't get the hate. Like, I understand it's not a masterpiece, because here's the problem with the movie, right? I understand if you don't like it because of Pa Kent and the way he dies. That I understand. Thousands being killed. I understand that people are like, oh, they could have just done it in the desert. I understand that. But I also don't get why anybody would be complaining about, oh, all this city damaged. This is supposed to be a hopeful superhero. and I'm sorry to say this, Kryptonians destroying Metropolis. I don't care. I don't care if you dislike that, because I don't understand it. It may not be the best representation of Superman, but I think it's a fantastic enough movie to where I just don't care. I genuinely don't care. That's it. Number 5, I have Captain America Civil War. I still remember the trailer, seeing Black Panther, seeing Spider-Man, 2 of my top 5 Marvel superheroes, Spider-Man being my number 1. It was just fantastic seeing it at the time. I wish it was... I enjoy this movie, but I kind of wish there were some things they did better. I enjoy it, but I don't get how others can't. You know, it's... I feel like I'm talking with a brain that's half dead because I don't know what I'm talking about right now. So, we're going to restart. At number 5, I have Captain America Civil War. Fantastic film. Black Panther, Spider-Man's debut, 2 of my top 5 Marvel superheroes, with Spider-Man being at number 1. I think that this movie is top 3 MCU. I think a lot of people would agree that it's top 2. So, yeah. I think there's not much to say here. This film is fantastic. I think it's really well done. At number 4, I have Avengers Infinity War. Dude, this was my most anticipated film for years. The way I knew about Thanos was from Superhero Squad. And it's funny how my TikTok's blowing up. My TikTok and Instagram's blowing up with Superhero Squad because of Doom being the bad guy. This team used to beat him weekly. I'm like, yeah. And as... I'm just thinking about The Rock saying... with Mama Doom in the show, Mama Doom. Like, Mama Doom would make if Mama Doom was in Avengers Doomsday, it gets an automatic 10 out of 10 for me. That's just my opinion. Man, I can't wait for that movie. Avengers Infinity War's peak. And that ending, I did get spoiled about it because Screen Rant, I don't know if it was Screen Rant, I think it was New Rockstars. Somebody, one of the big breakdown channels on YouTube, had a cover of Spider-Man Fading Away, and it was on like the Wednesday or Thursday before the Friday it came out. And I'm like, brother, what are you doing? Like, you don't do that, but... So, it was no surprise. I knew it was going to happen. So I got Infinity War ruined for me. Kevin Feige was not doing good with his job at that point. At number 3, I have Spider-Man Brand New Day. Like I said earlier, talking about this movie's just fantastic. It's my favorite live-action Spider-Man. I think the mental health messaging in here is Some of the best. I could really relate to one scene in this movie, and that's when, you know, you ever like someone and then you're scared to take that leap of, you know, asking them out and everything, and then all of a sudden, without you ever knowing that they were in a relationship, they just end up kissing someone else, and you just watch as it happens. I felt Peter Parker in that scene because I'm like, I've been there. Because I've actually been there. And I will tell you, as a Christian single, that's something I have dealt with. So, very relatable. The mental health just elements in this movie were fantastic. This is a movie I see myself rewatching heavily in the future. Just, it's fantastic. At number 2, I have my favorite DC movie of all time, The Batman. Don't need to say probably that much, but this is the best Batman I've seen. I think this is the best Gotham. I think that this is the best detective Batman, which I like Batman being a detective. I like Batman being this character that, you know, is young in his career. I like Riddler. I like the setup of Gotham. I like Falcone, Penguin. I really like Gordon, Catwoman. I think this film is heavily entertaining. It's to me, it's very enjoyable. But at number 1, I have as the best superhero movie of all time, in my opinion, I'm Into the Spider-Verse. I just can't put anything above this. To me, this is the biggest masterpiece in superhero media. It's the only thing I'd consider a masterpiece all across the board, and it does everything well. And I like it. I really enjoy it. I like the character growth. I like the character arc. I like the leap of faith scene. I think that is one of the best scenes of all time. Yeah, not just superhero movies, but of all time. But I really enjoy that. So now we're moving on to top 10 worst animated movies of all time. So, this isn't going to include CGI animation. So, by that I mean CGI, like, for example, the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies, which I despise, and the Smurfs live action, which I also despise. Those aren't going to be included in here. There is one that's technically, you could say CGI, but it's also animated to the point of, I don't know if I should include it, but I'm including it anyways. You'll see what I'm talking about. I'll give you a hint, it's at number 2 on the list. But number 10 starting off and kicking off the list for the top 10 worst animated movies of all time, at number 10, I have Minions. Like, just hearing the like, just hearing the gibberish the whole movie, I despised it for that one reason. The only thing I will like is King Bob. I like that. But that's it. Like, I really don't care for this movie. But it's number 10. And number 9, I have another Illumination film, The Grinch. I am a huge Dr. Seuss guy. I like Horn Hears a Who. I really like the Lorax. I like what Illumination was doing. What they were doing. And then I saw this film, and I'm like, this was not necessary. And I felt like they tried to modernize the Grinch, and I didn't like that. Don't modernize the Grinch, bro. Just don't. And I did not care for that movie at all. Number 8, I have Captain Underpants, the first epic movie. I know people are going to be upset that that's probably in my bottom 10, but here's the thing, or my top 10 worst, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, I know that this movie just hasn't aged the best for me, so that's why it's this low, and I'll move on. It's fine at adapting the books, but that's it. I'm really tired, so if I feel like I'm sucked out of energy, I've been really feeling sleepy today. I probably need to drink more water. That's probably what the issue is. But I feel fine, but who knows? At number 7, I have Brave. The worst... Actually, no. This is not the worst Pixar movie on here. I was never impressed. It's very forgettable, and I don't care. I don't care enough. It's number 7. There's nothing I really remember. It's that forgettable, and that's why it's this low. At number 6, I have the Emoji Movie. Insert poop emoji. Let's move on. Sure, identity, cool messaging. I really did not enjoy this movie. It, the meh emoji is how I feel about this movie. Meh. But, maybe the reason I'm feeling so sucked out of energy is that these top 10 worst lists are reminding me of the trash I've watched when it comes to movies. But number 1 on this list might wake me up because I'm about to have a meltdown with number 1, 2, and 3. Number 5, I have Rio 2. I really enjoy the first movie. Anybody remember Rio or Angry Birds Rio? If you know that, you know ball. But Rio 2 is just, it's eh. It's honestly eh. I didn't care. I think the environmental protection part, I swear, does this movie not have an environmental protection part of it? I can't remember if they find out that humans are trying to destroy the environment. I can't remember if that was in this movie. I genuinely just don't remember. It might be in this movie, it might not. I don't know. But yeah, it's 5. I did not care for it. And number 4, I have Madagascar 3. Europe's Most Wanted. Never really cared for this one of the 3, and yeah. But at number 3 of my top 10 worst animated movies of all time, I have Lightyear. This movie is not just the worst Pixar movie of all time. This is by far the worst Disney movie I've ever seen. I don't know, Disney associated. This movie sucks too. Zurg. When I watched it, I was in bed, so I was stuck homebound with my leg injury at that point. I'm watching the movie, and I remember watching it, and I'm like, spoiler alert, Zurg is old Buzz? Are we serious? I understand that people are like, oh, well, Toy Story 2, it's making fun of Empire Strikes Back with the Luke, I am your father. And I understand that it's like, Buzz, I am your father. And it's like, no, it's a copy of Empire. I understand that. But this film makes that make zero sense. And it ruins it. And I'm a huge Toy Story 2 guy. It ruining that is a huge reason why it's lower. Also, I feel like Disney was trying to, reach more to other audiences with this one. I'm not going to say how. But I felt like Disney really tried to do something new here. Pixar tried to do something new. This film sucked. It was not good, and I don't want to ever watch this movie again. period. And number 2, we don't get much better on this list of top 10 worst animated movies of all time, because I have Space Jam: A New Legacy. Hey, LeBron, I don't like you, and I'm not going to like this movie. Look, it's not because of LeBron. I genuinely feel like I grew up with the first Space Jam, right? But when I watch this, I'm like, where's the soul? Where's the fun? This movie doesn't feel fun. This feels like Easter egg mania for Warner Brothers. This is not a good movie at all. I don't know how this... Awful. Space Jam: A New Legacy is awful. I wish I could, never have seen it. Because I got it stuck in my head, and I'm just thinking, LeBron James. No surprise, I'm a Golden State guy, but I just, that triggers me. At number 1, I have the worst animated movie of all time, in my opinion, Ice Age Collision Course, which I have as a, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if no, it's not a 0 out of 10. Okay. It's the worst. And I'm going to tell you why. Ice Age 1. I enjoy Ice Age 1. I thought it was a nice classic growing up. Ice Age 2, The Meltdown. I enjoyed that movie. I really enjoyed the characters that they introduced. I really liked it. Third one, I never really understood the hype behind. I thought it was fine with Ice Age 3. I forget what it's called. Like Dawn of a Dinosaur or something like that. Ice Age 4 is my favorite. And it's Ice Age Continental Drift, which I grew up with. And I was like, I liked it. I can't explain it, but I really liked it. And I thought that should be it. And then when I saw the trailer for Ice Age Collision Course, I remember thinking, this movie's gonna suck. They shouldn't be making another one. And the reason why I don't care about the Ice Age 6 Boiling Point is because of Ice Age 5 Collision Course. I don't care. I've lost it with this franchise. This franchise has lost me. I'm done. I cannot stand the fact that we're getting another one. Stop producing these movies. Look, it was good. It was unique. I liked it up through the 4th movie. I shouldn't have liked it as long as I did, but I did. And this movie was the point where I'm like, okay, now we're just trying to create whatever we can with the franchise. We're trying to milk the cow as much as possible with this franchise. They're ruining it. They're killing it. Disney being idiotic with that. Sad. On a lighter note, let's get into the top 10 animated movies of all time, in my opinion. At number 10, I have a classic, Monsters, Inc. I really like Monsters, Inc. I think this is a classic in so many ways. It isn't my favorite Pixar movie. In fact, it's not even top 3 in my opinion. There are 3 other Pixar movies in this top 10. But all these movies are 10 out of 10s. Like Monsters, Inc., I really enjoy it. I think it's a classic. And yeah, I really like it. I really like it. Not much to say. At number 9, I have Aladdin. So special, dude. Robin Williams is great. Everything, the music's fantastic. I'm huge into the Aladdin product of Disney, so I like this. At number 8, I have Soul. Fantastic Pixar movie. When I watched it at home with my mom, I'm like, during quarantine, I'm like, this was a really fantastic movie. And I wasn't one looking for messaging back then, but I saw the messaging and I'm like, the messaging's really fantastic here. So this movie is easily, when I look back at it now, I'm like, yeah, that's easily a top 3 Pixar movie. But Soul is fantastic. The Nick scene is hilarious. And the fact that now that scene doesn't age well is crazy to me. That scene is now aged. That's crazy. But anyways, number 7, I have Hercules. The highest movie I have from the Disney Renaissance era. I really enjoy this movie. I really enjoy it. I've always enjoyed it. It's been my favorite plain Disney movie. By plain, I mean not Pixar associated. And I've always really enjoyed it. So, yeah. At number 6, I really feel like this should be higher. I just prefer the other 5 ahead of it. Only because 5, I think, is so much fun. At number 6, I have The Prince of Egypt. Love this movie. And has probably one of the most relatable scenes ever. And that's during the burning bush. I've never seen anything Christian media be so accurate to what it's like feeling the presence of God. And that scene that they did, I'm like, they nailed it. They nailed it. I really enjoy this film. I think it's great. It's very entertaining. The music's fantastic. Yeah, I really enjoy it. At number 5, I have probably the most fun animated movie, in my opinion, is the Lego Movie. The Lego Batman in this movie is so much funnier than the Lego Batman movie. So much more like, I really enjoyed his character in this movie. I like Emmett. I like just the characters. I really like the dad and his son stuff. I think that is fantastic. I really, a very fun movie. Very fun movie. At number 4, I have Ratatouille. I want to talk about this one. Ratatouille is such a special movie in my opinion. And the reason why is I watch movies as if it's art. That's what I see with messaging. I see art when I see message. I see art when I see messaging. And Ratatouille, the whole message is seeing art. Seeing the beauty in creating food. But I think there's a bigger message of creativity and a bigger message of art in that movie, in that message. And I'm like, that's one of the best messages. And that's why I would say Ratatouille is a movie I recommend for all people to watch for purely the messaging so that they understand what it means to look for the messaging, to look for that in art. And then storytelling. And number 3, Justice League, The Flashpoint Paradox. Already discussed about it earlier, but easily the best Flash film. Number 2, I have my favorite Pixar movie with Finding Nemo. A movie that probably will become my number 1 favorite animated movie. Probably when I'm a dad, this movie probably will hit me a lot more. But it's fantastic as it is. And I can acknowledge its fantastic messaging. And it is a beautiful film. Truly beautiful. And number 1 is Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, like, Into is going to be being number 1 on a couple of these lists. Shouldn't be that much surprising. Into deserves the glaze it gets. And now, I waited so long. I'm going to check the podcast runtime real fast, see where we're at. I didn't realize how far we were into the episode. That's crazy. This is officially the longest video I've ever done. But hey, it's a podcast. So we probably don't have too long. I'm going to dive into some of these quickly. But I have my I was going to do, just so you know, I was going to do my top 10 worst, best, top 10 most overrated, top 10 most underrated movies of all time. So I'm going to go ahead and go through those, and if there's any highlights, I'll stop to talk about it. But we're going to keep going. It's a special episode of the podcast. Let's enjoy it. At number 10, I have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse on top 10 most overrated movies of all time. Like I said, this list, I'll just have you know, is going to trigger people. So if you don't like getting triggered, get off this video, get off the podcast. But Across is so much, is Across the Spider-Verse, more like Across the Spider-Worse, as Danny Mata would say. And I agree. It is worse than the first one. It truly is. But I don't know why people act like it's the greatest movie of all time. It is nowhere near that. At number 9, I have a movie that... Look, I have Thor Ragnarok at number 9. People will say this is a top 3, top 5 MCU film. No. Thor Ragnarok is not even a top 10 MCU movie. Not even top 15. Are we really going to talk about this movie? Look. Thor Ragnarok is the worst Thor movie. And it's easy to say that because Thor Ragnarok is the worst representation of Thor. Taika Waititi did solid with Jojo Rabbit, by the way. Thor Ragnarok is not a good Thor movie. It's a funny movie, sure, and I can enjoy it for the humor. What I can enjoy is the fact that Thor's character is completely mishandled in this movie. He's turned into a comedic character, and I understand people are like, hey, he needed that character shift. No, he didn't. I'm sorry, but, and while I enjoy it, I do enjoy this movie. It is overrated. I just can't. I can't say it's any better than Love and Thunder. I think it's about the same as Thor Love and Thunder. Look, this movie might grow on me, but until then, it is overrated as can be. It is not a good Thor movie. Good comedy, not a good Thor movie. Misrepresenting the character entirely. Talk about representing the character. At number 8, I have the Lego Batman movie. At number 8 of the top 10 most overrated movies of all time, I have the Lego Batman movie. I'll be quick with this one. Nothing really much to say. I just see people glazing this movie. I don't see it. I thought it was I thought it was okay. Fine. I didn't think it was something that's like one of the best Batman movies. Like, that's crazy to me that someone would say it's one of the best. At number 7, and I have this because I hear so many people glaze it as the best Disney princess film, I have The Princess and the Frog. Really? You're gonna glaze this movie? Like, I thought it... Are you ready? Are you ready? Like, it has solid music. I never really cared for it. And I just don't get people saying this is their favorite. Because I think there's Beauty and the Beast. I think Frozen is way better than this. There's so much better Disney princess movies, in my opinion, than Princess and the Frog. So if that's your forte, go ahead. But if that's your go-to, whatever. Not for me. Number 6, I have The Dark Knight Rises. This one I'm going to stop and talk about for a minute. You know it's about to go down when I lower my laptop screen. Dark Knight Rises is the most overrated, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's the most overrated film of Chris Nolan's. I understand being a Nolan glazer. I'm one myself. Here's the issue. Dark Knight Rises, and I've stated this before, is great until they ruin Bane. Bane being Ra's al Ghul's son would have been fantastic. And then they made him just this random guy who helped Talia al Ghul escape. That is stupid. I've said it before. I said it literally in the last episode, ranking Chris Nolan movies. It is the worst of Chris Nolan's movies, in my opinion. It is overrated. I just can't stand it. I don't understand why people like it. It is not good. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying that third act is the most downfall I've ever seen a movie go from being, okay, this is getting good, this is a really cool idea, and it go completely just bad. My Steelers were in the movie and I still didn't like it. You can't be serious, dude. Anyways, at number 5, this one's purely because I just don't understand Letterboxd ranking this as high as it is. I have Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. You'd think that's the worst Harry Potter movie. Apparently not. On Letterboxd, Chamber of Secrets and Order of the Phoenix are lower films than this film. And the reason I'm going to say it's overrated is because it should be the worst Harry Potter movie by far. I didn't read the book, but I used to watch YouTube videos because I'm a Harry Potter guy. That film did no justice to Voldemort. Voldemort has a fantastic story arc, and they never even tried. And unfortunately, that's my biggest con with the entire Harry Potter movies in the franchise. That's the biggest issue I have. But yeah, I had to include it because Letterboxd, for some reason, has it higher than Order of the Phoenix, which I think is just ridiculous. At number 4, I have Rogue One. I used to think this movie was solid. It's so boring now. It's such a boring film. It's a cool concept if the characters are more interesting. That's all I have to say. Number 3 is the most triggering end I have ever had while watching a movie. Castaway. I gave it a 3 out of 10. I want you to know this. This movie, overrated. I thought this is going to tell a nice story of a man who survives just to end up seeing his wife who has waited for him. And then it turns out his wife just moved on. And I understand that it's a whole thing about him moving on as well. But I want you to understand, there's not a good message in there that makes sense. The only thing that makes sense is that he would move on. But the problem is, where's the build-up to it? A good message has build-up to it. If you're going to do it at the end, you have to have a good build-up. There is not a good build-up. He survived just to see his wife. And I understand maybe the message of, well, sometimes you fight for things, you don't get what you wanted, but you get something better. We don't even know that because he ends up at a crossroads. That's where we end, is him at a crossroads. So dumb. Genuinely one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And it's such an overrated movie. At number 2, I have Deadpool. Just not for me. I don't understand why people love the crude humor of that film so much. I just don't get it. And at number 1, I have Bohemian Rhapsody. I just never found the film entertaining at all or enjoyable. I just did not care for the movie at all. Where's the message? Even a good, biopics can have messaging. Elvis had messaging in it through the story of Elvis. I did not feel a good message out of Bohemian Rhapsody with that movie, so sorry, but no sorry. At number 10 of my top 10 most underrated movies, I have The Sound of Freedom, a movie I recommend everybody to go watch. It is a fantastic telling of a true story. In order to not get this video demonetized. I'm not going to dive into what it talks about, but it talks about a huge problem in the world today, and I heavily recommend you go watch it. It's one of my favorite films of all time. I really like it. At number 9, I have 13 Hours of Benghazi. Pretty underrated. I don't know how it's as underrated as it is. It's a pretty solid film. Number 8, I have Frozen. I might be wrong, but I think this is my highest ranked Disney princess film, which I stand on that. I really enjoy the soundtrack of this movie. It's very, very enjoyable. At number 7, I have Patriots Day. If you've ever heard of Boston Strong or this movie is fantastic. Go watch it. I heavily recommend Patriots Day. It tells a true story about the Boston bombing that happened. Fantastic. Number 6, I have Tenet. Underrated action movie. And I genuinely like the concept of Tenet. I think it's very fun action flick. I really enjoy it. So yeah, that's number 6 for me. Number 5, I have The Cat in the Hat. What you know about that? Look, all these movies are 10 out of 10s. Meaning, I had the audacity to give Cat in the Hat a 10 out of 10. You may think I'm crazy, but this is a movie that deserves a 10 out of 10. It could be a comedy. It could be a heartfelt movie. It could be a horror film. This movie literally works in so many ways of being so many things. But this is too iconic to not be considered well crafted. It has everything. It has anything you'd want. I don't get how you can't enjoy it. Plus, the adult jokes in this movie are some of the funniest jokes I've ever. The humor in this movie. This is one of the funniest films I've ever watched. But yeah, it's very funny. Number 4, I have Spider-Man: Homecoming. The most underrated Spider-Man movie, easily. I don't understand people saying that this is Iron Man 4. Get out of here. It's not Iron Man 4. It's a Spider-Man movie. It's a good Spider-Man movie. It's a fantastic Spider-Man movie. It's him in high school. And people are mad because he wants to be like Iron Man. That's his whole character arc. That's his whole character growth. And I think the way that they handle that is fantastic. Genuinely, the whole thing about Spider-Man is about responsibility. And there you go. Very well done. Number 3, I have Man of Steel. This movie needs to stop getting hated so much. And people need to start acknowledging that this movie is one of the best superhero movies we've ever gotten. Hate my opinion if you will. But I don't care because I really enjoy this movie. But I'm going to say, it's underrated. Y'all need to give it a second chance. Stop being blinded by the fact that it's not your version of Superman. Because just because it's realistic doesn't mean it's automatically bad. And number 2, I have Jurassic World. Now, this is not necessarily an underrated movie, per se. But the reason I have it at number 2 is because I want to talk about this. People will say it's up there with the original, which is iconic. It's a 10 out of 10. But I'll see Jurassic World still be so much lower and in a number score. And I'm like, how can you say it's even close to that first one? So I'm saying a little bit of hypocrisy here with the review of that movie. But seeing Jurassic Park turn into Jurassic World, I thought, whenever I was starting to watch those movies, before I even knew about Jurassic World, this was 2013, 2014, I thought it'd be so cool if they did a movie where it was if the park was actually a thing. And they did it. And I think this film is fantastic. I think it's very underrated. But number one is the most underrated movie of all time. I think that this is genuinely a movie that I don't see anybody ever talk about. But at number one of the top 10 most underrated movies of all time, in my opinion, I have The Legend of Bagger Vance. From the messaging to the characters to the beauty of that film, so underrated. Now, top 10 worst movies of all time. Before I dive into this, so I'm just going to fly through this. There's none of these I really want to talk about that I haven't already talked about. At number 10, Bohemian Rhapsody. I just think it's the most overrated movie of all time. So that's how low it is. Number 9, Crimes of Grindelwald. Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald, that movie. At number 8, Morbius. Number 7, Fan 4-Stick. Number 6, Lightyear. Number 5, Space Jam: A New Legacy. Yeah, it's bottom 5 for me. Number 4, Ice Age: Collision Course. Number 3, this is the one I will stop and talk about because I haven't. These top 3 of my top 10 worst movies of all time are all 0 out of 10s. And at number 3, I have Night at the Museum: The Secret of the Tomb. This movie is so, I don't like it. I don't find it amusing. From the time I watched it in theaters, I'm like, this is really just not it. I didn't like this movie. It's bottom 3 for a reason. To me, this makes Night at the Museum look like a top 10 movie of all time. This makes the first one look fantastic compared to this. It's so bad. So bad. Number 2, I have Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Road Chip. I despise the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies. And at number 1, I have Wonder Woman 1984. But if you'd like to see my reviews for those, you can go check them out at my letterbox with Pastor_Luke. And now, my top 10 movies of all time. Let me see a runtime real fast of the pod and make sure we're doing good. I don't have a camera crew or anything to really figure out, I guess, the runtime. We're already at over an hour and a half, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up with my top 10 movies of all time. At number 10, I have a movie that's really personal to me. Is I Can Only Imagine 2. That just came out this year. Even if it's probably my favorite song of all time. So I love that movie so much because it's the story of that song. And I would have considered it for one of the underrated films. But this film is more it's highly rated because of what it means to me. So I really love this film. I love the messaging. I love the story. It's beautiful. I love the movie a lot. Number 9, I have Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man. It's really just a fun movie that, I would not even say it's a fun movie. Unlike the first 2 Knives Out movies, this takes a different route. It takes an approach of exploring faith. And I think the way that they do it, and it's not a Christian movie by any means, but the reason it's my favorite movie from last year is because the way it handles, Detective Blanc goes through character growth through watching our main character in this movie, who's a priest. I just really like that, and Rian Johnson's Knives Out movies are all fantastic in my opinion. I really enjoy all of them, and this one is just my favorite. I'm a huge mystery guy. I like the faith elements. It's really fantastic. Number 8, I have Into, which is my highest animated movie on my all movies I've ever seen. This is my favorite animated movie of all time. As a Spider-Man guy, Into the Spider-Verse is just special to me. Leap of Faith scene, the just everything about it is just so special and unique. The artwork's incredible. The characters are fantastic. The arc that we see Miles go through is fantastic. Really fantastic film. And that's why I have it at number 8. At number 7, I have It's a Wonderful Life. I love this movie so much. I can't explain it. It's a Christmas tradition that I watch this movie. And I love it. I just love this movie. And I think the mental health messaging, the value of life that we see in this movie is really well done. I just think that this film is genuinely a masterpiece, and it deserves to be in my top 10 because I just really love that movie. Number 5 and 6 can go back and forth for me. So I'll just go back and forth with them. At number 6, I have The Godfather Part 2, and at number 5, I have The Godfather Part 1. I could really go back and forth with these. I like the Mafia movies a lot. I like this. I like just the acting's incredible. The storytelling's incredible. These are two of the most important movies to cinema history. I think The Godfather Part 2 is the greatest sequel of all time. Most days I probably preferred this over The Godfather Part 1, but it is that's my 5 and 6. I really enjoy them a lot. Now diving into my Mount Rushmore. So it's gone through a bit of a change since my last episode of the podcast because I was thinking deeply about it and I thought, let me change it. At number 4, I have Chris Nolan's The Prestige. Literally is probably the best movie I've ever seen. This is it's so well made. It's genuinely a masterpiece. This is Nolan's this is his special. And it's not my favorite of his films, but it is truly just fantastic of a film. I enjoy it a lot. It is easily the best overall movie I've ever seen. But this top 3 is top 3 because it means a lot to me. Number 3, I have The Passion of the Christ. This not being my one, you're probably thinking, what are you doing? But at number 1, I have a movie that has elements of faith in it, that there is a scene in there that I'll get to. But The Passion of the Christ is a movie that I struggle to watch, but I absolutely love. I can't wait for The Resurrection of the Christ Part 1 and 2, which comes out next year. The Passion of the Christ, though, is just a fantastic film. It is a movie is my number 1 recommended movie of all time. That I would recommend. I'd recommend it before anything because it's the fact that that's not even to show the amount of what Jesus went through dying on a cross for our sins. That's not even as violent as it got, is such a humbling thing when you watch it, because you realize just how much Jesus went through for you. And that was the first time I genuinely asked, because I was crying watching it thinking, why did he have to go through that? And it's just it's a beautiful film. Beautiful. It's probably the best that we have of the crucifixion when it comes to Christian movies. Beautiful. At number 2, I have Interstellar. Best score of all time. And I'm a huge score guy. The messaging being of love saving the universe is a beautiful message. Kind of reminds me of another message of a movie I just said with number 3. But Interstellar is just fantastic. The acting's fantastic. There's just amazing scenes in here. It's a fantastic film. And one of the best. But number 1. My number 1 favorite movie of all time is The Green Mile. And here's why. There's never been a scene that I think of daily as much as I do the I'm tired boss. When, it's just, this movie, it's crazy when I watch it because I'm like, because I'm just like, this film's fantastic, dude. I don't know how really to say. This is a movie I recommend for everyone to watch. It's beautiful. Truly, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful film. And if you've never seen it, it was a movie that broke me watching it just once. It's a very, prepare your tissues for that movie. But yeah, that's, in my opinion, that is my number one. But anyways, that's it for the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all enjoyed the movie. Thank you all for watching. I hope that you had a good time watching the podcast. Thanks for joining. And I'll see you all next time. And I don't know when my next episode will be, but thank you all for watching. Hope you all had a good time. And I'll see you all in the next one. Love y'all, and God bless.